Okay, today we're going to talk about how to make a rose out of a tomato. This is kind of a two-step process. The first thing we're going to do is take the tomato and get a strip off of it, a continuous strip. So we start at the top, use a fairly ripe tomato so you can get good color, and we cut in and then just go around, follow the contour, and we stay in at a depth of about 1/8 of an inch. And just continue following it on around as the contour goes. You may have to dip up and dip out and dip in, but keep on going around. And when you come back around to where you started your cut, then you're going to want to pick it up and just follow down to where you're beginning a new layer and continue on around. And what that's going to do is provide the base for your tomato when we finish here. So keep on cutting and make a nice long strip. And as you go, if it winds up being a little jagged, that's a good thing, because flowers typically are not perfectly formed and their leaves tend to be a little bit jagged as well. Okay, so continuing on, get ourselves a nice long strip, and when we get down to the end, just kind of let it go like so. And set your tomato aside. That's going to be salad or whatever else it is that you wish to do with it. Take your strip and lay it out on your cutting board with the flesh side showing, so the skin down, so to speak. At that point, we're going to start over here on the flat spot, and we're going to take the inner flesh out of the tomato so that we get as thin a skin as possible. So we'll just start over here, take our blade and dip it down just a little bit. You don't want to go too far, because if you go too far, you'll cut through the skin. So you want to stay just along the top of the edge of the skin and extricate just that little bit of flesh, that extra little bit of flesh that you don't want to be using. So I hold my knife close to the edge of the board, turn it in just ever so slightly, and then I watch as the blade comes through, and you can actually see it under the flesh as it goes along. Kind of looks like a piece of watermelon as you're slicing. And just keep on coming through. You want to do essentially the whole board. And what you're going to wind up with is this little tiny bit of flesh. Okay, we're just about finished here. We get this last little bit down on there. In part. Take that off. Turn around. Keep on going. You get up to this curly hue part. Once again, you're tilting the edge of your knife into the tomato, but being very careful not to go through the skin. Remove all that excess inner flesh so that you're left with just the skin on the outside. Like so. Now we've got all the skin, the inner flesh off. The next thing that we're going to do is start here on this tip, and we're going to simply roll it up. And when you initially begin, it gets a little wobbly in your fingers until you can get it down to where you've got a big enough roll to hold on to. Okay, like so, and then just start rolling it up. You get it that far, then you continue on, like so, and you want it to be kind of loose. You want that inside part to be tight. And notice I said this flat part that you took off the top of the tomato, that becomes now the base. Okay, and I finished rolling it up. I get to that last little point there, and I simply take that base part, fold it around, and there we have it. Nice little rolled up rose. You can do a series of these, like 2 or 3 together. You can set them on top of like basil leaves or a lemon leaf, and they make a wonderful centerpiece. And by taking that inner flesh off, the thing will sit there all by itself, and you don't have to worry about taking a toothpick and stabbing it to hold it together, because it tends to want to come apart. So,
thanks for watching. For more tips on garnishing and food centerpieces, visit GreatCookingToday.com.